Okay, I'm putting the frame under the body. You can see back in the back there, right there, I got a jack stand and a transmission jack. And I lift it with that, and on both sides I've got a jack stand, that side and that side. And then coming over here, I've rolled it on under, but I got a gantry crane that I can lift the front up so it's got a clear span when I rolled it in. I'm starting to let the frame back down, so I've got these two jack stands in the front, one on each side. I let it down 3 or 4 inches at a time. God knows I don't want to drop it. And then there's a body mount, a body mount, body mount. I'm going to get some long bolts as I raise the frame. I'm actually got the frame here on rollers so I can roll it. And I've got 4 rollers under it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up and put more blocks under it. So I'm going to bring it up to the body after I get the body nice and level, and I think I'm going to put something under the springs so I get everything nice and level. So there you go. Okay, I'm raising the chassis on it up to the body, but in there you can see there's a bolt, and there's a body mount there, there's one there, there's one over there, one over there. But what I did is I got these big long bolts, 8 inches long, that are 3/8 bolts, and they go down in there. So as I lift the frame up, they'll naturally kind of line themselves up. And I've still got the rollers under it, as you can see, so I can roll it around a little bit. And being an engineer by education, I got 2 safety straps there and something to make sure it doesn't tip sideways. But I could get rid of most of that at this time because I'm just lifting up. Okay, I got the body, well, I didn't move the body, I moved the frame up to the body. What I did is I got jacks and I shimmed it, but I got the frame level as I brought it up, and then I just got it within maybe an inch, and then I started lowering. Since the frame was perfectly level, I lowered the body down and got it to where I started making contact. And I made about even contact. I didn't have the little hydraulic floats, but I pushed them up and compressed the rubber a little bit and got them all the 13 body mounts with shims and everything. Now I measured this corner, the 2 corners on the other side, and got everything perfectly level. Then I went ahead and lowered the frame down on the 13 body mounts. And just a couple of things here. This body mount here, the front one, gets a plug to cover it up. Well, they all get plugs. They get a little round rubber plug there. But let's see, you got 2, one there, one in the other corner. That's 2. You got 2 there. That's 4. Go on, there's 2 in the middle, right there behind the heater duct. 1, 2, and then you got the next ones back. You got this one and that one, and then going back in the trunk, you'll see there's one right here, and there's one over on that side right there. And then coming on back to the back here, you got one right here in the trunk and one on the other side by the gas tank opening right there. And then you got 2, and you can kind of see it. Okay, you can kind of see here's one. And then on the other side, it's back in here, and you can see it down here through the place where you put the battery in. And so that is basically the motor mounts and how I got that thing down on the frame, and they're all tight and ready to go. So I'm gonna I actually put it down on the ground and move it over there in that corner where it's going to be its permanent home for the next couple of months while I put the rest of it together. Okay, I'm starting to put the felt in the back of the car here. You can see that. Now what I do is I take this and I get it all started up at the top, and then I fold it down here, and then I take this black pen and simply press in as I go around and I mark it. Then I got a black mark. Then I'm simply going to take these scissors and cut it. Now you'll see in this edge I've done the same thing going up the corner here, and that'll fit in there about perfectly. So then I'll do the other side. Okay, I've got the carpet here, and you can see, or the felt I should say. I'm going to put the carpet in a minute, but you can see over here I've got it in the seat area and all cut to go up front. I do not have the snaps. I punched holes for the snaps, and here I'll show you that, how I do that in a minute, and mark them and that type of thing. First I'd show you how I mark these snaps. And I'm going to try to do this. Right here is a snap, you can feel it. And I'm going to take this punch and put it right on top of that snap, like that. Then I'm just going to simply rotate it a little bit. And you can see it marks that. I'll take them off and put it on a board, and with this punch, I'll punch a hole in it, and thus I get a hole like that. So that's how that all happens. Okay, I've put the carpet in there. It looks really good. Comes up to the edge like it should, has all the right slots, and the snaps all match up. So, well, I haven't put the snaps in there yet, but I did mark the back of the carpet where the snaps go in, so I'm way ahead of the game. Okay, I'm really proud of this. As you can see, I've taped this 1/2 inch soundproofing under there. I've got the black modern stuff underneath it just to give it a little extra oomph. But you can see I went and marked where all the vents go, and all the little tabs and stuff are going to come through. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Okay, I'm ready to glue this felt down. And I don't have my selfie stick, but you'll see I put little pieces of tape on all my, not the front ones. I actually have to joint the felt in the middle, but I've rolled it all back there so that I can spray it and not get glue on anything that I don't want to get glue on. And then I can roll it back into the car. So I'm going to go ahead and get my glue can, and we're going to do that. Okay, what I use is a 3M high strength contact adhesive, which dries really quick. But I'm going to get my mask on and go ahead and spray that on there. Alrighty, I wanted to show you how I glue. First of all, if I've got something down that is like this, I'm going to put this over it. So when I spray my glue in there, but you can be fairly controlled with that glue. As you can see, but I just do nice even coats like this. And I'm going to move my paper back here. There we go. Okay, I'll adjust my light a little bit. Yeah, you might have it in the picture. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional, so you get that kind of stuff in the picture that way. But I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing over here, and that's going to get the edges first. There's my teepee. A teepee like the Indians used to have. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll that back and make sure it gets on my little, I guess I should pull those off first. I put tape on those, as you can see. And they're easy to pull off, but I just didn't want to get my okay, everything's going real well there. I'm going to roll that over, make sure she lines up. Then I'm going to kind of work it down, all glued down. There's a better picture of it all glued down. You can see it there. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, I'm going to go get the front now. Okay, you can see most of this here, this strip that you got to put over there. And what I do is I put the can on one end. And then I start at the other end. I get it all over my hand, unfortunately. But I'm going to take it. And these little strips get glued around here, front and back. I've glued the back one. But basically, I do it on the metal first because for some reason it takes longer to dry, but that gets painted on here like so. Careful not to get it on the and try not to drip. Okay, after painting that, you can see I worked some of it up there, and I'm still working on it a little bit, but I need a sharp little point thing to get this out here. It's got up in the wrong spot. Oh, there she goes. There's a square plug on the left-hand side front of the car, and you get it started. It's lipped this way in the metal, and it's lipped that way in the slot. There's a big slot on one side and a little one on the bottom, and to get that sucker in there, you just took the hammer and whacked it a couple of times, and that went all the way down. So that's how you put that plug in there. I have to do that before I put the rest of the sound deadening. Okay, I've got most of the sound deadening in the car, the black sound deadening. Actually, I put silver on the top. I'll show you all that. But this is the dash, and it's got a big, thick sound deadening on it. And then it gets on the other side here. It gets some felt. It's got holes there. I'm going to feed it through some things I've got through the dash, but I'm all ready to put this in. Now these standoffs here, if you look at them, I can rotate them a little bit, but I took pictures of it and I put them all in approximately the right direction. Now as we go over to the car, that's going to go in here, and you'll see I got to feed the windshield wiper, the speedometer cable, and that through. The smaller grommet down here for the electric windows, I can get to that and put it in, but I put those grommets in because they're a real pain to get in. And so I put them all in, and I'm hoping I can fish that through. Oh, I did put the windshield squirter pipe in too, so there you go. Okay, I pulled everything through here. You can see the windshield wiper stuff there, I got it stuck in there. See these tabs up at the top? They're the whole wires. And you got to work it past there, and this board at the bottom right there, I had it in, and you can't have it in and get that up in there. The other thing is over there on the heating vent, it goes on that end first and it snaps in behind the heating vent. Now I've got all these screws on this side, which those are all those standoffs. And I'm going to go around to the other side here. Hope I don't make you too dizzy. I'm going to go to this side, and then I'm going to go in here with an ice pick, like so, find my hole, and hopefully I've got the holes pretty well in the right position. With the pictures I took beforehand and arrows and stuff like that I put on the brackets before I took them off, I think I got them on there the way they need to go. Okay, we got a bunch of screws to put in. I got a couple of these started here, and what I do is I get an ice pick and I find the hole, and that one is pretty doggone lined up, and I put the screw in. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, I've got to go ahead, and I think there's one here, there's a whole bunch of them. I think that might be one too. You'll see those screws through the dash, and you'll say, why did all those screws go to? And that's what it goes to. It holds that inside heat shield. So the next thing I'm doing here is I've got all the screws started outside on this thermal shield, and the screws on the inside, I left them just slightly so I could slightly loose so I could move those brackets with the ice pick from the other side and line them up, but a combination of screwing them from one side and then the other kind of gets you what you need. So I'm going ahead, I've tightened up the other side. You've watched me screw a lot, so got this work of art all put up there, that felt, or whatever, sound deadening. And you'll see I'm ready to put the console support in. And I'll move back here so we can see it better. Okay, there we go. And the object of this is, there's one big bolt that goes in here, and it goes in the door frame here, and you'll see over there, there's a bracket right there, right there, okay? And that's going to go on the other side, but there's another piece that goes in. And on top of this, there's 3 holes, and those get a 1/4 inch bolt or nut, and those are one of those Newton U-bolts. Okay, I'm back behind the dash here. If I zoom out, you can kind of see, but anyway, I went ahead and mounted this up there, and I wanted to show you. Right here is a screw, or a bolt. Right here is a bolt. And if you can see right there's a bolt. So I've tightened all those up. I started in the middle on this side, and we have the same thing on that side. 1, 2, 3. So anyway, I've got those all up there. I started basically tightening the center and working it and making sure it was all straight. But as I zoom out here, you can see that I've got the bolts in the dash here. So these are about 2 inches long, and they're 9/16 head, I believe. There's one here. There's one on this side, one on the other side of that, and those get a big washer top and bottom. These other ones just get a washer on the top, and of course there's one on the end. I put that little piece in there. I'd taken a picture of it with this big cross arm in there, but I went ahead and put that in there. All the bolts were loose, and I started tightening those up there, and I'm going to work my way up, and I'm going to put a straight edge along the front to make sure the front where this gap is straight. So that's getting the dash in. I'm pretty excited. Okay, follow through here with me. I put these bolts in, of course, the long shaft. Now what I did is I started over here on the far side, and I wanted this to be straight across, so I put a straight edge on there, and then I tightened these up to make sure I was straight on this. You can't do it this way because there's like this is bent down a little bit and that's bent up a little bit. That all goes behind the trim, but that piece of metal isn't quite straight. But this is a good straight edge, and you can look down it and see that it's straight this way. But after I get these two tightened and tighten this one, then I go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, so I get it all straight. But that long beam doesn't bend. It's right here that flexes. So you got to get that all real straight in there, or your steering wheel will be crooked. So that was the next step. By the way, if you want to reverse these steps, if you're taking it out, start at the back of the tape and watch it backwards. Then you'll know how to take your dash out. I'm putting it in, as you can tell. I'm going under the dash here to show you a few things. Going up here, that's the speedometer cable, but you can see I fed these cables through here. They come up, and this block here. Can you see this block? If I hold the camera in there. And these tabs get bent over on the end. So get that wire out of the way. That tab gets bent over, that tab gets bent over. And there's a big old rubber piece, if you can see it there, that goes in. And then of course they come out and they come through these holes like this right here. So I went ahead and ran those. I'm going to do a little bit more wiring. But I wanted to show you that. The other thing too is I went ahead and tightened that up. There's a couple of bolts underneath here and here. I tightened up, and I went ahead and tightened those up. So anyway, that's the underneath of the dash. I'm ready to put this heater box in. You can't possibly get it in for two reasons. It won't fit in there right, and I'm going to take the two little screws out there, right there and there. There's a plate behind there, and there. I used some modern tape to seal it up. But the other reason is, if I flip it over, you can see that's where all the hoses get connected, which I got all the hoses laying right over there and right over there. But they get connected up there, so you can't get to them if you got the two pieces in place, and you can't get them the holes in the side. These being those holes on the side, I'm going to work them through there and seal them up. So anyway, that's the goal. And if I go on around here, that goes up underneath there. And basically there's a couple of screws over there and over there where you fasten those brackets in. There's not much holding that. Usually a Rolls Royce have 50 screws, but that one only has those little brackets.